As I promised in my previous video, I promised that I'm going to do section 2 for you. The time has come. We're going to do the Form 3 Paper 1 I posted before. We did the first 16 questions. Now we're doing the section 2, the 8 questions. The paper is Form 3, yes, but a Form 1, a Form 2 can attempt some of the questions. Remember, Paper 1 basically covers Form 1 and Form 2. So kindly, Form 1, Form 2, go through the paper with us. Thank you and enjoy.
Cover page, the instructions. Always ensure to read the instructions because they are very important.
Question 17, a question on commercial arithmetics. This is where a businessman bought X bags of maize. The cost of each bag was 960 shillings. Then he spent 85 shillings per bag on transportation. Then he later sold the maize at 39 shillings per tin and making a profit of 515 per bag. Then question part 1, you're supposed to calculate the number of tins in one bag. Then part 2, if the businessman made a total of 29,640 shillings, so how many bags did this businessman sell? Part 3, the businessman later used all the total sales to buy more maize, and the buying price in this case was 962.25 shillings. That's 25 cents. Then he later sold the half of the maize to a bag at 1,390 per bag. Then, of course, you proceed. Question number 17. Over here, you're given that the cost of one bag of maize is 960. This person spent 85 shillings to transport the one bag per bag. That means the cost of purchasing one bag of maize will be the two added. It's 960 plus 85. You get the amount of money spent is 1045. Now, if I want to consider the selling price, because you're given that the profit is 515, then the selling price will be the cost of purchasing the one bag add the profit. So in a total, this salesperson will get 1,560 when he sells one bag. This is one bag of maize. Now, you're given that 39 shilling is the cost of one tin of maize. Now, if you do the cost of one bag, that is the selling price per bag, then divide by the selling price of one tin, you go ahead and get that one bag of maize has 40 tins. Now, you go ahead and do part B. You're given that the total sales for this, the salesperson made was 29,640. Then if you want to calculate the number of bags, how many bags this person sold, then you divide by the selling price of one bag. That is the selling price of one bag. And then you get that this person sold 19 bags. Going ahead to part 3. Part 3, you're given that this person used all the money, all the sales for the part 2 was used to purchase more maize. And now the buying price of the maize is 962 and 25 cents. Then you add, we assume that the cost of transportation remained the same. So if you divide this, the sum of these 29,640 divided by the sum, you get to the nearest whole number, 28 bags. So these are 28 bags. That is now the bags this person was able to buy for the second day or the second round. Now you're given that half of this, that is a half of 28. A half of 28 is 14. So the 14 bags were sold to the millers at 1390. So if you multiply that, the cost or the amount of money received for that is 19,460. Then the remaining 14 was sold at 39 per tin. Remember, one bag has 40 tins. So in total, it will be 21,840. So if you add, this person got a total sale of 41,300. Then the question is, you calculate the percentage profit. Go ahead and get the profit. The 11,660, you're going to get it by subtracting. That is 41,300 subtract amount of money the salesperson had originally. That is what you can call the capital for that. So it is, you get 11,660. Then 11,660 divided by the 29,640 times 100, you get the profit to be 39.34. 39.34. That is question number 17.
Question 18, a question on statistics. You're given the marks in classes from 11 to 20, 21 to 30, all the way to 91 to 100. The frequencies are given. Then the part 1, you're supposed to state the model frequency. Then you determine the actual mean mark for the data given. Then you state the class in which the median mark will lie. Then finally, part 4, you calculate the median mark and hence find the difference between the mean mark and the median mark.
You're given the marks here. These are your classes. What you need to do is to work out the midpoint. The midpoint, which will give you your x there. So the way to work out the midpoint is to add the lower class boundary and the upper class boundary, divide by 2. So 11 plus 20, that is 31, divided by 2, you get 15.5. The same with this, 21 plus 30, then that is 51, divided by 2. All the way to the last class here, 90, add 100, you get 191, divided by 2, you get 95.5. The frequencies as they are given. If we can go ahead to answer question 1, we state the model frequency, highest frequency, that is. If you consider all the frequencies, the model frequency is 12. 12 is the model frequency, the highest frequency, that is. And sometimes they can ask you for the model class. So it is 61 to 70, that's the model class. But for this, they need the model frequency, 12. Then we go ahead to work out the mean. The mean mark will be given by the summation of fx, and that's why we need to work out the fx here. Like for instance, in this one is 15.5 times 3. You record it there. That is fx. For all of them, you work out the fx. Remember, this is form 3, that is. With form 3, maybe we have not done the assumed mean. So we cannot maybe simplify it further. So we go direct, as I have done here. You multiply the x by the frequency. Of course, you get the fx. Then you add all of them, like the summation of fx, the frequency times the midpoints, it's 3,660. And of course, you have worked out the summation of frequency, or the frequencies added, it is 60. So the way to get the mean, it will be the summation of the frequency, the fx divided by the summation of frequencies. You divide, then you get 61. So the mean is 61. Then working out the median class, the class in which the median lie. So you need to work out what we call the cumulative frequency. The 3 plus 0 is 3. Then 3 plus 7, 10, 10 plus 5, 15, 15 plus 3, 18, all the way to the last one. So how do I know the median class, or the class in which the median lie? I need to do 60 divided by 2, that is 30. Then I come over here, I consider where exactly is the 30th mark. The 30th student here, where is the student? Up to this point, 25 of them. So that means the 30th student is in this class. And that is how I get the median class. The 30th student, half of 60, where is that student? The student is not here. Up to here, cumulatively, that's why it's called cumulative frequency. Up to here, 25 of them. So the 30th student is here. So the median mark lies between 61 and 70. And that's why we take that to be our median class, the median class. Then we calculate the median. The lower class limit added to the total frequency over 2 minus the cumulative frequency above the median class, then over the frequency of the median class, that is f, multiplied by the class interval there, or the class interval. And how do I know the class interval? It is not 20 minus 11. It can be 30 minus 20. Otherwise, I can go back to get what we call the class limits. So over here, this class extends up to 10.5. This goes up to 20.5. Those, this one we call them the class limits. The lower class limit, the upper class limit. So with this, we have the class boundaries as they are, then the class limits. So this one, the Li, is the lower class limit of the median class. That is, it's not 61, but 60.5. 60.5 as it is here. Then n over 2, 60 over 2, I get 30. 30 minus cumulative frequency above the median class, 25. 30 minus 25. Divide by frequency of the median class. Then, of course, I multiply by the class interval, which is 20.5 minus 10.5, or 30 minus 20, which is 10. If you go ahead to work out that is 60.5, this will be 4.16. You add, then you get the median to be 64.67. Then the question was the difference between the median and the mean. So of course you subtract 64.67, subtract 61, you get 3.67. And that's how we approach that question on statistics. Question number 18.
Question 19, it's a question on transformation. You're given the third image, the triangle B triple prime, A triple prime, C triple prime, given there. It's the third image. And you're given the original object was having a coordinate A 62, B is 82, and C is 60. Then you're supposed to draw that triangle. Then you draw the first image of the first triangle through a reflection along the line y equals to x, and of course state the coordinates. Part C of the question, you have now the second image that is obtained by enlarging the first image, that is triangle A prime, B prime, C prime, and the enlargement scale factor is 2. The center of enlargement is -1, 9. So of course you draw the second image. Part D, it's now by construction. You determine now the angle of rotation and the center of rotation that maps now the second image you have there, the enlarged image, and the third image that already was drawn. Having done that, you state the 4 triangles. Remember, now you have 4 triangles. The 4 triangles, 2 of which that are oppositely congruent and 2 that are directly congruent.
Unfortunately, I don't have the graph board here, but I will show you how to go about it. Question A, or part A of this, you are given the coordinates of point A, point B, and point C. So you are supposed just to plot. You plot the point A, that is point A is at 6, 2. That is where point A is. You can see point A. Then the point B is 8, 2. That is where point B is. Then point C is at 6, 0. Then of course you join the points. My scale may be not the best here, but you join the points to get the triangle ABC. That is the original object you're having, and you score the first mark. Question B, you're given that there is a line x equals to y, or rather y equals to x. So that is the line cutting across this point. Remember, this is that is at point 0, 0, passing through 1, 1, passing through 2, 2. So that's the line y equals to x. So that is the line of the reflection line. That your mirror line. So if I reflect this over this line here, of course the image will be above that mirror line. And how do I know the coordinates? Actually, what exactly happens is the interchange. The coordinates, if the coordinate was 6, 2, then the reflection, the image of that A will be 2, 6. B was 8, 2, then it will be 2, 8. If it was 6, 0, then it will be 0, 6. Actually, the points are just interchanging. And once I have the coordinates, then I can plot the point. The image of A is at 2, 6. 2, 6. This is just a good guide. If it is part B, the point B, image of B, first B, it is 2, 8. Then you plot appropriately. 0, 6, I plot, then I join. So this is the first image. That is the first image. Going ahead to part C. Remember, now we are doing enlargement. We are enlarging this triangle here with our center of enlargement being a point -1, 9. -1, 9. So by construction, remember, if the center of enlargement is not 0, 0, we have to do it by construction. So what exactly do I do? The scale factor has been given. The scale factor is 2. So what do I need to do? I need to join C with the center of enlargement and I extend. Remember, that time the image will not be there. I do the same for B and I extend. I do the same for point A and I extend it. Then what do? I measure from O to where C is. The scale factor is 2. Then I multiply that factor by 2. If I get 2 centimeters or 2 units, then I multiply it by 2, I get 4 centimeters or 4 units. Then I will stand here with my pair of compass, then I mark 4 centimeters. 4 centimeters. I measure from O to where A is with my pair of compass, like that. Then I extend. If that was 3 centimeters, I multiply it by the scale factor 2. Then I'll get 6. So what do I do with the 6? Then I measure along the same line. I mark where the 6 is. I'll do the same with B. I measure from the center of enlargement to where B is. Then I multiply that distance by 2. Then after I do that, I extend my pair of compass and then I mark the points. Once I do that, then I join the points. And that is how I ended up with the triangle A double prime, B double prime, C double prime. And the coordinates, even if you do it accurately on a piece of graph paper, the coordinates of A will be 5, 3. It will be 5, 3, A double prime. B will be 5, 7, 5, 7. And then C double prime will be 1, 3. It will be 1, 3. So that is the second image. Remember, that's now the second image of my what we call successive transformation, that one. Going ahead to part D, we are supposed to find the center of rotation and the angle of rotation that maps triangle, the second image, onto the third image. So what exactly do I need to do? I need to join a point A, for instance, with its corresponding point. Then I bisect that line by construction. This one I'm just giving you a guide. I do draw by construction, a perpendicular bisector. Then I join another point. For instance, I can join point B. Yeah, I can join point B. Then I bisect it again. I just do bisect. Yeah, that one. I'm just showing you a guide. You bisect that line. And where they meet, that is the center of rotation. I know my diagram now is full of very many lines. You cannot tell which is which. But where the two bisectors meet, that is the center of rotation. How do I know the angle of rotation? The angle of rotation, I need to join, for instance, the second image of C with its image. When I do that, then I measure this angle. I measure that angle. And you can consider that the point C double prime is here, triple prime is here. That means it's going anti-clockwise. Anti-clockwise, the angle will be positive. Whatever angle you measure here, maybe it is 110, 120 maybe, so it will be positive 120 degrees rotation. That's the angle of rotation. Then, of course, the center of rotation is as indicated there. What I'm doing is to offer you a good guide that can help you do this question. Then when you talk about part E, two triangles that are oppositely congruent. They are equal in size, but their orientation is different. The original object and the first image, they are oppositely congruent. They are opposite. If you lift this, you cannot fit it into this. However much you rotate it, cannot fit. So they are oppositely congruent, equal but different orientation. The one that are directly congruent, and remember with reflection gives you oppositely congruent objects. But when I talk about the second image and the third image, these two triangles are equal in size and they are directly congruent. You can lift this triangle here and fit it here. And that is the end of question number 19 on transformation.
Number 20, a question on vectors. You given that vector, we have a vector PQ that is B and vector PR that is C. Then there is a point M and a point L that point along the vector QR and vector PQ respectively. Get the ratio there. You're given that PL to LQ is 1:3 and QM is to MR is 1:2. Then part 1, you're supposed to represent vectors QR, PM, and the other one is RL in terms of A and another is B and C in terms of B and C. Then part B, by representing vector Px in two different ways, where you're given that Px is h of Pm and Rx is k of that's RL, so the k and h are just constants or scalars. Then you're supposed to find the values of h and k, those are fractions. Then finally, after having done that, you determine the ratio LXXR. Good, that's number 20.
As you have been given there, you given vector PQ is B, vector PR is C there. You given a point here, and you directed very well here that for point L, there's a point L, there's a point M. You given that PL to LQ, it is 1:3. That means the ratio there is 1:3. 1:3. Then you given that the ratio from Q to M is 1, that is 1:2. 1:2. Then the first question is to determine the value. Of course, the two vector R and PM intersects at X there. So you're supposed to find vector PQR in terms of B and C. So remember vector QR is equivalent to Q to P, that's negative B, plus PRC. So if I can rearrange that, that is the first vector that I have obtained there. It is equivalent to C minus B. C minus B, the first vector there. Then vector PM, vector PM. So remember vector PM can be obtained, either you go this way or you go this route. So I can prefer to go PQ plus QM. I know PQ, that is B, is equivalent to B plus a third. If this is the ratio 1:2, it means then this is a third of the whole vector QR. Therefore, this will be a third of vector QR that I already know it is C minus B. So it will be a third of C minus B. If I work out this, if I work out that, remember I'll open the bracket with a third, then there will be minus a third b here, there is b here. B minus a third will be 2/3 b plus a third of c. So this now gives you the answer for the second part there, the vector PM, vector RL, vector R, yes, we are going for vector RL. There it is. So that one I can prefer to go vector RP, that's the opposite of RP. You can see negative C there. Then vector PL, which I know it is a quarter. If this is the ratio 1:3, then this is a quarter of the whole vector, a quarter of B plus, remember I'm going as per the direction there. So finally, if I rearrange this, I will get a quarter of B minus C. That is the vector RL. Going ahead, we are given now the giant part of this question. You're given that Px can be given as HPM. You're also given that Rx can be given as KRL. So we are supposed to express Px in two different ways. We start with the first one. It is h of PM. Already we have the PM somewhere. PM is here. So you only need to attach the scalar h, then the vector PM that already you have. So then open the bracket. Remember, this is a constant, should come before the vector. So this is 2/3 h, we will open the bracket, and then plus a third hc. So this is the first way we have expressed Px. Then go ahead. The vector Px can also be expressed. We go PR, then we add Rx as it is given there. Remember, Rx is given somewhere here. So we need to use this, we need to use this. So going ahead with that, PR, we know it is C. PR is C. Then this one, we know it is K of RL. K of RL. This one, RL, already we had it. We had it here. So we only need to lift it from here. We fix it here. So if that is the case, we open the bracket. Opening the bracket there and simplifying, it will look something like that. That finally it will be equal to a quarter KB plus 1 minus KC. This one, there is a step here I've ignored, but if you simplify, finally you'll end up with something like that. Going ahead now to solve for K and H. I need to equate. This is Px and this is Px. Now I equate 2/3 HB plus a third HC, this one, the first one I had, is equal to the second part of expression for Px, and there it is. So I equate. Again, I've ignored some steps here, but I'll just show you how to extract the two equations. If you consider this has the vector B, and if you consider on this side, that is the equation side, the other side of the equation, it has a vector B. So we equate now the coefficients of that vector. 2/3h is equal to 1/4k. And you see, that is how I get my first equation. That 2/3 h equals to a quarter k. The B vector I equate with the B vector on the other side. Then I do the same with the C vector. The C vector on this side is a third h. A third of h is equivalent to now the coefficient of vector C on the other side, 1 minus k. With this as your second equation, this as the first equation. Using form one way, you can solve that simultaneous equation. And the best way is substitution. Make k the subject. For instance, here, multiply by 4. 8/3h is k. Then 8/3h, substitute it here. Once you substitute it here, and then you will have h as the only unknown, work it out. H will be a third, finally. Then you'll have to solve for k. K will be 8/9. So we have worked out the values of the two scalars, the h and k, or the two constants. Then we go to the very last part. We are supposed to work out the ratio of Lx is to xr. Lx is to xr. According to our equation, we know what is k. K was 8 over 9. And they had said Rx is K of RL. So with that, we know this is from R to X, this is 8 portion out of 9 of that vector from R to L. So if this is 8 portion, that means that is 8, this is 1 portion. If they're asking for Lx, it is 1 portion, and then this is 8 portions. So the ratio for that will be 1:8. Wow, that is the end of the question vectors. Remember this 10-mark question, if you master 5 of them, you have 50% already in this paper. So directly that is how you get the ratio. So practice and practice and practice, and it will make it perfect.
Question number 21, it's application of quadratic equations. You're given that two towns are 480 km apart. Then there's a bus traveling from A to B at a constant speed of x kilometers per hour. On the return journey from B to A, the bus decreased the speed by 20 kilometers per hour. So part A, you're supposed to write down an expression to represent the time taken for the bus to move from A to B. Then Roman 2 of part A, then you express another equation for the time taken for the bus to travel from B to A. Then part B, you're given that the difference between the time the bus took to travel to B and return, the difference in hours, that is in time, it's 2 hours. So the bus took more time on the return journey. Remember, it was using less speed. So you find the value of x in that case. Then of course calculate the total time taken for the bus to travel from A to B, then B to A. That is question number 21.
You're given that the distance from A to point B is 480. 480, there's a bus moving from A to B to using x kilometers per hour. On the back journey, 20 kilometers per hour less, so it is 20 minus x. So the expression for the time taken from A to B, it will be, of course, remember time is distance over speed. So it will be the distance 480 divided by speed, x. So the first expression there. Then the back journey from B to A, it will be 480. Then you divide by the speed for the return journey, x minus 20. So it is just an expression, another answer there. Okay, for part B, you're given that the time difference between these two journeys, to and fro, is 2 hours. So we go ahead to form an equation. Remember, when the speed is lower, when the bus is using less speed, it means it is using more time. So the time for the return journey, subtract the time for the going journey, the forward journey of from A to B, it is equals to 2. Then you simplify this equation. Remember, you get the LCM for these algebraic fractions. The LCM can be the multiples of this. So this one divided by the lower part, then multiply by 480. So it is 480x. Then of course this one divided by this, you get 20 minus x. Or rather, you can just multiply these, multiply by 480. So it will be 480x plus, because this is negative and a negative, it will be finally, I open the bracket, plus 20 times 480, you get 9600 equals to 2 over 1. Going ahead to simplify, 480 and 480 will go, then 9600, it's there over, now this expanded, or you open the bracket there, equals that. Going ahead, you simplify, the equation will appear like that. Rearranging them for this one, dividing here by 2, the whole of that equation divided by 2. You'll get x squared minus 20x minus 4800 equals to 0. So with that, you can end up with this equation. Now you need to get two numbers. You're getting numbers, two numbers, product is negative 4800. The sum is negative 20. Yes, the two numbers are negative 80 and 60. If you multiply them, you get that. If you just add, you get negative 20. Go ahead and just do factorization. What we are doing is to solve that quadratic equation by factorization. And once you factorize, finally you will end up with these factors. Yeah, so actually this one is plus. You just write from here it's plus. Then your answer will either be x equals to 80 or negative 60. So for negative 60 we drop it because we are talking about speed. You can never be negative there. So then we take 80 to be our answer. So 80 is the speed, the value of x that we were looking for. And we have it. So part B solved. Part C, we are talking about the time taken for the two, that is from A to B. It is the distance divided by speed for the forward journey, or rather A to B, which is 60. 6 that is. Then for 80 divided by 60, the return journey is 20 kilometers per hour speed less. So that's 60. You get it. If you add the two, the whole journey to and fro took 14 hours. That's the end of question number 21.
Question number 22. It's a question on commercial arithmetics. That's all about commission. And with this, you have a sales lady who earns a basic salary of 25,000 shillings per month. In addition to that, this lady gets a commission. If this lady sells goods up to 75,000, gets 1% of the total sale. Any other additional goods above 100, that's above 75, 100, the first 100 sales 5%. As the table tabulates, another 150,000 sales above, it's 6%. Then any other amount above, on the same, cumulatively above now 150,000, then gets 10%. So determine, that's part A, determine how much commission this lady got. Then you go ahead and get the total pay the lady got within a month. Part C, you're told that in the following month, her salary was increased by 17%, but the total sale decreased by 12%. So for compared to the first month, so calculate what was the percentage change in her monthly earning or monthly pay.
Question on commercial arithmetics, especially on commission. So it's a question that even a Form 1 can attempt. And you're given that the basic salary of this lady was 25,000. Then the table of commission is as it's given here. For the sales up to 75, 1%. Then the other next 100, 25%, and the rest as it is given there. Question 1 is you work out the commission that this lady got. So what you do with the first 75,000 sales, you multiply by 1%, so that is 750. The next 100,000, it is 5%, that gives you 5,000. The next 150,000, 6%, 9,000. Then you need to calculate what is above. You need to calculate what is above there. And with that, it will be addition of 75 and 100, that's 175. Then you add 150. That gives you 325. 325 you subtract from 600,000, you get that is 275. 275 there. Good. With that, this is the cell that was above what is given on the table. It is above there. So that is the amount. You multiply by 10%. You get 7. That is 27,500. 27,500. That's the commission for that bracket there. Then you add all the commission. This one, add this one, add 9,000, add 27. You get 250. So that's the total commission. That's part A. I hope it is that simple. Then part B, the total pay for that month. The total pay for that month. How much did this person receive? Her basic salary is there. Then add the commission. So this person got 67,250. So that is the sale for, or the total pay for that month. Then we're given that the next month her salary increased by 17%, so it is 117%. So if you multiply by the original amount, it will be 29,250 shillings there. Then the sales dropped. You're given that the sales dropped by 12%, so it will be 88% of 600,000. So it will be 528 there shillings. So that's the new sale for the next month. So you only need to know that with that it will fall into the first bracket of 75, 100, and even 150. So you need to just calculate what is above the third bracket you're given there. It is the total sales subtract the total for the 75, 100, and 150. 325. If you subtract, you're going to get 203,000 sales that was above. That is now in the bracket of 10%. So the 10% there, you multiply, you get the commission for that bracket to be 35.50 shillings. 35,050 shillings. So the new pay for the following month will be the commission, add the new basic salary for this sales lady, and you'll get 67,300. That is the pay for the next month. The question was you calculate the percentage change. The pay for the first month, subtract the pay for the second month, you get 2950. 2950 divided by the pay for the first month, just the month, the previous month, times 100, and you get the percentage change will be 4.387%. That question is that easy. That is question number 22. Don't mind my cough there, it is at work as well. Thank you.
Question 23, it's a question on sequence and series, and you're given that the first term of an arithmetic series and a geometric series, or a sequence in that case, they are equal. But you told that the second term of the arithmetic sequence is equal to the fourth term of a geometric sequence, while the 10th term of the arithmetic series again is equal to the 7th term of the geometric series. So you're given that A is the first term, the common difference we represent it with the D, then the common ratio for the arithmetic, that is the geometric series, it's R. And then you're supposed to write an equation connecting the arithmetic series and the geometric series. Then you find the value of R that satisfies the geometric series. Then that you're given that the 10th term, that's part C, of the geometric sequence is 5,120. So find the values of A and B. Then you calculate the sum of the first 20 terms of the arithmetic series. That's question number 23.
Given that the first term of the AP, or the arithmetic sequence, is equal to the first term of the GP, so it is AA. Then you're given that the second term of the AP is equal to the fourth term of the GP. And that's why I have this equation. The second term, it is A plus D. Remember, that's an AP. For the term of the GP is that is A times R cubed. Remember, it is N minus 1 there. Then you're given that the 10th term of the AP, that is A plus 9D, is equivalent to the 7th term. The 7th term of the GP will be A to power R, that is A times R to power 6. And that's why I have the second equation there. Having done that, I have answered the question for part 1. That's part A. Already A is done. The equation connecting the AP and the GP. We go on to part B. Part B, we want to solve for R. So what I'll do, I can use equation 1 and make R cubed the subject. Remember, what I'll do is just to divide by A on both sides here. I'll divide by A, divide by A. And that means R cubed will be given by A plus D over A. just using the first one. And by that, I can now substitute in the second equation. A plus 9D equals to A R. Remember now my R cubed is A plus D over A. This is R cubed. That is R cubed already I have. Remember here it was R to power 6. So automatically there must be a 2 outside. That's why I have this square there. So having represented that, I can go ahead and solve. Remember, I can expand this using quadratic identity. It will be a squared plus 2ad plus d squared over a squared. Even this a is under that square. Then I can cancel by a1 by a by that is a. So I'll have, that is where I get this denominator a here. After that, I can decide to multiply all through by a, just to eliminate this a from here. If I do that, I'll get 9a, not 9a, but this is a. So a squared, that's why I get a squared. Then 9ad is there. Then equals to, remember now this one, it's just the a that disappears. It will be a squared plus 2ad plus d squared. And that's where I get that equation there. If I go ahead to work out the a minus, remember this now will be minus the a squared will just go. Then the 9ad, I'll subtract the 2ad and I'll get 7ad. Then on this side I will remain with d squared. I can divide both sides by d. That is, I can divide both sides by d. Then I'll have 7a equals to d. A very important equation there. And with that, I can go back to the equation I had for r cubed. I want to replace d here. I can replace it with the formula over here. The d is 7a. So instead of d here, I use 7a. That's how I got this, 7a. Instead of the d in this one, I use 7a. Then this is 8a divided by a. 8a divided by a, the 8a divided by a, the a and a will disappear by one. R cubed will be equals to 8. If r cubed equals to 8, that means I can find the cube root of both sides. If I work out the cube root, I get r is equivalent to 2. Answer, the cube root of 8 is 2. Wow. So far so good. I know for a high schooler, reasoning like that will be a bit tough. But I said when mathematics becomes tough, bit tougher. I remember it's an optional question. With section 2, you can decide not to do the question number 23, but it is still doable. Good. With that, we have now the part C. You're given that the 10th term of the GP is equivalent to that, 5120. So you work out the values of A and D. Once you have the A, you work out D. So how do you work out A? In this one, you are going to say that if it's the 10th term, it means A times r to power 9 equals to 5120. 5120, now you have the values of r. It is 2. 2 to power 9 times A equivalent to that. You go ahead and work out the values of A. The values of A in this case would be 5120 divided by 2 to power 9, and you get your answer is 10. With that, you can use now the formula we had that D is 7A. So I have the values of A, so it will be 7 times 10, which is 70. And I have the values of D. Then part D, I'm supposed to work out the sum of the first 20 terms of the AP. So the formula is there. The Sn is always n over 2 into capital bracket 2a, n minus 1 times d, this is d, into, you close that capital bracket there. So then you only need to substitute. I have n is 20 over 2, then 2a, 2 into a, I know it's 10, 2 times 10, plus 19. Where did I get 19? It is n minus 1. 20 minus 1, 19. Then I get times 70. If you evaluate that, finally you will end up with the sum of the first 20 terms to be 13,500. Wow. This is mathematics. Mathematics is that tough, and it needs tougher people like you. Thank you. Number 23 done.
Question number 24. You're given a triangle ABC. BC is 8 centimeter, AC is 12 centimeter, then angle ABC is 120. So the first question, you find the value of angle ACB. Then you calculate the length of AB to 1 decimal place. Going on to part C, you're given that if AB is the base of the triangle, then you go ahead and calculate 1 decimal places the perpendicular height of the triangle. Then of course go ahead to find the area of the triangle.
Question number 2 and 4. This is a question on a triangle. You're given this triangle here. You're given angle ABC is 120. You're given the length AC. You're also given the length BC is 8 there. The question 1 on part A, you're supposed to work out the value of this angle. You're supposed to work out that angle. And the first thing you can do is application. You can apply the sine formula because you're given this angle and this side. So you have this, you can work out this. You apply the sine formula and you start working out this angle. With that, this is the angle A that we don't know. So we are going to state 12 divided by sine of 120, the opposite angle there, is 8 divided by the sine of the angle that is unknown. We go ahead to work it out. 12 times sine A, it will be 12, it will be 12 sine A equals to 8 sine 120. Then divide by 12, divide by 12. And once you do that, it will simply be sine of A is 0.57735. With that, we need the angle. So we get the sine inverse of that ratio. You get the angle is 35.26 degrees. With that, I can get the third angle. Remember, this is a triangle now. I have two angles. I can get the third one. 180 subtract the sum of these two angles. And you end up with that as the angle, this angle. Yes, the third angle that we're looking for. And that gives you the answer for that. We go ahead to part B. Part B, we need to work out this side. Now the question is we work out that side. The sine formula again will apply. The AB, the length that you're not given, divided by the sine of the opposite angle. Remember this now we have 24.74 degrees. So equals to 12 over sine of the opposite angle. The very same thing we did. So I'll multiply both sides by sine of this angle. And this side by the same. So it will be 12 sine 24.74 divided by 120, sine of 120. So with that, I'll get, with my calculator, 5.8. So I've done, I have it. This is 5.8 centimeters. Remember, you're giving your answer to 1 decimal places. Or 1 decimal place there. Good, we go on. We're supposed to find, we take AB as the base. If I consider this one, AB is the base. So I'm asked to work out the perpendicular height. The perpendicular height here. I work out this height. So with that, I need a triangle that looks something like this. Over here, this angle, the acute angle there is 60. I'm working out, already I have this. I have the hypotenuse, I believe, yes, 5.8. Then I'm working out the height, which is the opposite, and this angle is 90. The perpendicular height from this base to the vertex A here. So what do I need to do? I need to use the sine formula. The sine of 60 is equivalent to the opposite h over the hypotenuse. So with that, I can now cross multiply, and h will be 5.8 times sine of 60. Then to 1 decimal place again, it is 5.0. Higher. We go on. Then part 2, you're just supposed to find the area. Now you can use the height you have obtained. You can use the sine formula, whichever the formula you use, provided you end up with the answer. I can decide to use the sine formula. A half times 8, remember it is a half AB sine theta. A half of 8 times 5.8, this other side, and then the angle between, that is sine 120. If I multiply that, finally I'll end up with 20.1 to the again to 1 decimal place. Wow, that was a form 3 paper. That was a form 3 paper 1. Maybe next will be a paper 2. We can do a form 3 paper 2, or I do a form 1 paper, at least for the sake of the many form 1s we have. Then we'll come to form 2, then we do form 3. We'll do a number of them. Before the end of the holiday, we will have interacted mathematically. So kindly keep coming back. Come back to this channel, subscribe, tell other students. I think we need more subscribers. If we can have like 5,000, at this time we're at 300. If we can have 5,000 subscribers, it will be very good, because it will, we will be very sure we are teaching quite a number of students, and this way we will become mathematicians. We will not need a leakage in an exam. We will just earning our genuine mark. Others, thank you so much. This is Dr. So me. Thank you so much, and keep practicing mathematics.